Hey there, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Carolyn, your host, and I am not here for a long time. Not at all. But I am here for a good time and an informative time. So let's get into this show. But before I do, I want to let you know that everything I say is my opinion and strictly for entertainment purposes. Nothing more, nothing less. Do whatever you want to with it, okay? So let's go into it. I know you all have been hearing and seeing all the foolery that's been going on the last few days, right? I was so frustrated and insulted as well, because a few days ago, I was scrolling on the internet and I saw this meme. Well, it really wasn't a meme, it was more of an image of Vice President Harris. And she was in the Oval Office in lingerie bent over the desk. Now, I'm not going to dignify this foolishness with a a picture of what I saw. If you want to see it, Google it, because I'm not going to do it. But I did want to talk about it because it rubbed me the wrong way. Now, we all know, I'm sure, that this election, as it goes on, which is not a long period of time, it was going to be some highs and lows, some low blows. We know they were going to detour around the whole political conversation a little bit, but it's expected, right? Because that's what keeps us entertained. I know it does me. However, I felt that it would be a point that people would not go so low. Now, what irritated me, I almost said something, but I caught it. Okay. Keep it classy, as classy as I can. But what irritated me the most was that anyone who's seen Vice President Harris, right, knows that she's not a voluptuous woman. She's more of a slender woman, right? And the picture that was put out there was that of a voluptuous woman, which most voluptuous women are African American. Well, really not today, because there are a lot of people that body. So we're going to say most natural voluptuous women are African American. Most times, right? We got some of our Caucasian sisters that got it, bam, bam, bam too. But on the natural side, most of the time, outside of surgery, it's going to be African American women. Well, they've been also saying that she's not really African American, she's Asian, blah blah blah. Well, we know that she has some African American in her. And back in the day, and it's always been said and understood, if you have a little bit in you, then you are African American, right? I don't know what's changing now, but that's what it's always been said. So there were several things about it. First of all, it was disrespectful to our vice president, to a woman, to a wife, a friend, possibly an auntie. I don't know. It was just downright disrespectful. And to me, it's actually like a boomerang effect. You like throwing it out there thinking it's funny when it's coming right back, the boomerang, and hitting you in the throat. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because for one, you're saying that she's voluptuous, and she is not. So to me, it's a backhanded insult to the very people that you want to pull votes from, that you love so much. And I'm sure, I don't know, but in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, I'm sure it obviously came from someone in the campaign, a supporter, or something of former President Trump. Now, me myself, I'm not a big political person. I vote, I do my civic duty. If I'm called for jury duty, I'm gonna go do whatever I have to do. But that's and I vote in my local elections as well as the presidential elections. I do my thing. And I vote for a person who, views are similar to the things that are important to me. That's what I think everyone should do. You know, if I'm for Vice President Harris, that's my business. That ain't everybody's business, which I am, and I think she will do a great job. If you for former President Trump, then that's your business. It ain't everybody's business. But it's your choice. We live in a democracy. We can do that. Okay? So if you're going to go and you're going to say, all right, I'm going to throw my hand in the presidential race. I want to be a president of the United States of America, the place where a lot of people want to come into. Obviously, right? We need border control. That's what's being said. So, and we all know, and I'm sure most can agree, we do. We need border control. Real issues. We know that, immigrants will be bobbing and weaving. We know some of them are going to come into the U.S. It's expected. It's like one of the things, an inherent thing. We understand it's going to happen, right? Cool. But what you don't do is focus on things that are insulting, to the point where you talk about Vice President Harris. I think it said something about her not having children. I don't believe she has children, but I'm not 100% sure. But I did hear something about that. That was her choice. No more than a man. And knows what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Focus on the real issues. Not that she's voluptuous and she, with a statement, um, showing her in lingerie like you should only be a mother and what do you mean bit cross the desk? What were you insinuating? She'd be home having babies. We get it. Like I said, it's an insult in more ways than one. Vice President Harris probably could care less. She probably like, bring it on, whatever you got, come on with it. But I thought that was an insult. And I don't, like I said earlier, don't get into all the political hoopla because that's just not my thing. I stay in my lane. But I felt like it was necessary to talk about it. And I'm going to be talking about it throughout this process and probably after because I feel that Vice President Harris can do a great job. She has a proven record. Now I don't know anything about her when she was a an AG or prosecutor or anything like that. I don't know. I do know that some people were not happy with what she, how she handled some of her cases, but you can't make everybody happy. This is my thing. They were stating, I did a poll on TikTok a few days ago, and I had, depending on what side of the fish you're on, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, that determined kind of like what your vibe was. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of to my surprise, there were some African American men that said when she was out there actually a prosecutor, she put a lot of brothers in jail. Now my thing is this: if you put brothers in jail and there were deferment programs and other ways you could have handled it as opposed to taking it that route, and they weren't like a habitual offender and things of that nature, they just made a bad decision, you know I got a problem with you. But those are the things that maybe they need to focus on. But if they don't focus on it, that means it's not any relevance there, in my opinion, because if there's some dirt to be uncovered, it's going to be uncovered. I personally think that the candidates need to focus on the real issues. Keep it 100. Like the economy, like why these interest rates so dang on high and why they were just going up out of control. I know they were trying to stagnate the if trying to keep the inflation under control or bring it back down or whatever because the supply and demand thing was getting crazy. I get it. They was trying to stagnate it a little bit. I get it. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about a woman's right to decide what she want to do with her body. Let's talk about that project 2025 900-page thing that you all are that's trying to come out. Let's defend why that's so important. Let's talk about why our children, are graduating from college and they can't afford to get a home because the values of the homes are just crazy. Now I'm cool in that position, because I bought my house years ago. But for my children and my children's children, what are they gonna do? Because the income they're making when they graduate is not sufficient to cover these mortgages. And their student loan debt is cray. And they want to get rid of Biden's attempt to try to Eliminate some of it. I just don't get it. They want to get rid of Obamacare. Obamacare is needed. There are a lot of people that don't have issues. Let's talk about real issues. And that's what I see in Vice President Harris. She's focusing on the real issue. Now, they're going to go below the belt. And I'm sure, former President, we know Trump, former President Trump is going to get his in too. He ain't going to let nothing slide. He going to get his in too. And we expect that. But when you start showing women in compromising positions in lingerie and things like that, I think that's low. It's taken away from the real issues, and it's not focusing on what the American people need in order to decide who they want in the White House. Whoever your guilty pleasure is, that's on you. And it's nobody's business. You understand? Like Scrappy said, it's nobody's business who you vote for. I personally think Vice President Harris is going to do a phenomenal job if she get in office. Is it going to be without any sort of scrutiny? No. Is it going to be like, is she going to make everyone happy all the time? Absolutely not. But I do think she has a resume that substantiates her being in that position. I mean, call a spade, baby. It has nothing to do with just the color of her skin. Now let's take that back a little bit. Having to see and being able to see, should I say, a woman that is African American be in the highest position is an honor. I'm not going to say it's not. It is, because we've come a long way. Thanks to Martin Luther King, Andrew Jackson, whole host of people. I can't even name them. I mean, all the way back to Harriet Tubman. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. So there are a lot of people who we can say attributed to the freedoms, me being able to talk to you, going to eat in restaurants. Just we have come a long way. So if an African American woman, if anybody with African American in their blood gets in the White House and do a great job, it's phenomenal. And a woman is phenomenal. I'm not taking it away because she has a proven record. You can't take that from her. So I just feel like they need to focus on the issues, and of course be ready for the jabs because we like the entertainment, but not the dirty. Now everybody could get dirty because we know ain't nobody without skeletons. We understand what we saying. Nobody's without skeletons. There ain't nobody around here perfect. Nor do I know I don't want to be, because it's too hard. It's hard enough being me. You know what I mean? Hard enough being who I am. So nobody's perfect, keeping it real. And I don't feel like you should throw stones at anyone's house. Leave that little piece of trash alone in somebody's backyard if you got a little bit in old garbage can in yours, if that makes sense. So I just want to come and talk about that because I'm like, there are real issues that need to be focused on so the American people can make a decision. I am ecstatic that she has an opportunity to run, and I feel that she's gonna make it. And am I happy about it? Yes, it's encouraging to see a woman in my genre make it to a prestigious position. You understand what I mean? It's something for little brown girls like me, little Caucasian young girls and women and Black women, for us to see a woman forget the color, because I don't see color in people. I see people personally. If you nice and not a jerk, that's all that matters to me. I don't look at black and white. I just don't. Not to the point where it influences how I treat you, unless you a jerk. Now we know racism is alive and kicking. We've seen it these last few years. It's been at a high. It's been at a high to the point where I felt the country was crumbling. I was like, Lord, we're not going back to where we used to be back in the days before me. Because it was getting crazy one time. It was so much, it's like people were angry for no reason, only because of the color of my skin. And I love the color of my skin, just like they love the color of their skin. But we should all be able to get along cohesively without all the looking past all of that. And a lot of those things, those values are inherited from my forefathers and things like that. And it's passed on up through the generation. So I understand where it comes from. But we got to get past that because America is like the place, the melting pot. Everyone's here and we should all be able to get along for the betterment of everybody. That is the important issue. What things are you going to do for the United States, for the people, to make our lives better, to make sure Social Security is there when we need it, to make sure Medicare is in place, to make sure pre-K is not touched, make sure a woman continues to have the right to do what they want to do with their body. It's like us telling a man what to do with their testicles. Like, would they want that? They don't want us to tell them what to do with those, do you? That's like saying we're going to tell you what to do with what comes out of them when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? You can't censor a woman and say they have no choice. The government is going to put this blanket document in place to the point where women have to make abnormal decisions that they would not normally make because now they're forced to make decisions that they don't want to make. You know, you have to leave that up to a person. Everybody has different reasons for whatever they do in life. In life, government needs to stay in their place with certain things. So I think that there are real issues getting this student loan debt out. These children graduating and going to school for 4 years and not finding jobs. That's important. Why they can't find jobs. Why they can't afford to feed their children. Why people, I understand not wanting to be penalized for being successful and paying higher taxes with your corporation and things like that. I get that. But even if it's a standard rate or whatever across the board, you make more, you're going to pay more. I mean, it just is what it is. You can't get around paying more if you make more. It's just how it is. You understand? So anyway, let's focus on some real issues. We like the jazz, we like the sim come, but don't be with that negative stuff. Don't be below the belt where you're gonna show and be disrespectful and show our vice president in a compromising position all because you're trying to. And not to mention some of the statistics about her dealing with the border and the amount of immigrants that cross over have been found to be inaccurate from what was said. You know, I'm not deeply rooted into politics, but if you're gonna put out statistics, let it be valid. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking. But you know, go for what you know, and let's see how things fall. I am for people voting for whoever they want to vote for. I have no, I don't understand certain situations, but it ain't my place. I feel like some people don't even want to vote. Why? I do not know. But that's their choice as well. Just like it's my choice to vote for who I want to vote for and other people's stuff. If you're red, blue, green, or purple, whatever you want to do, it's your choice. But let's keep the focus on the real issues and not be so disrespectful because she's a woman. Now that's where you cross the line. And when she's an African American woman, she is and does have some African American in her. But she has you can't look past her issue. She's smart. She's strong. She has the proof is in the pudding, baby. We can't ignore it. So I just kind of want to come and I want to say a little bit about that because I was perturbed when I saw the image of her. And it needs to really come down off the internet. If I could take it down, I would. That's why I'm not going to dignify it by showing the picture. It was stupid and ridiculous. And it's like, what else you got? We expected that. So next, and next. So let's show that we can talk about the issues and there's some substance for the American people to say, hey, this is who I want to run this country. That is so great. Okay. But anyway, you guys, I will be back and I'm going to be talking about this in my own way throughout this process. I'm not going to get deep because I don't get deep in politics because to each is his own. You know what I mean? Each his own. But I will be kind of touching bases throughout until the election, and especially after the election, so we can see how it went and how the chips fell. But anyway, enjoy your day.